Hey there, sweethearts. How are you all? How have you all been? It's been a very long time since I made my last tutorial. I think 4 or 5 months, maybe more. I'm not sure. But that's because I have been moving to a new country, to a new city, and I haven't really got time or to make a tutorial. But now I'm settled, and I will be making tutorials from now on. I'll try at least. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can create this really interesting heat vision, Superman heat vision, which is like literally, which looks literally heat vision and not just something cartoony that you can you get from other tutorials. Now there are many tutorials for this. There are many videos in which people show how you can create heat visions. Most of them are actually After Effects. But we are not going to be doing After Effects here. We are going to be doing Photoshop, because sometimes you just want an image of yourself with a heat vision. You have this image in which you're screaming and in rage and you're so angry, but you want to make it more cooler, so you want to add heat visions, and that's what we'll be learning now. All right, so let's get started. So this is the image that we'll be working on. I downloaded this image from Pexels. Shout out to Mustafa Ez. That's his name. He has captured this image and he has put it up on Pexels for you to download and use it for free. So make sure when you download and when you use it to give attribution to the creator of this image. So originally this image was a square-like image with only this much, but I got all this content ever fill to make this image more wider so that we can get more room for the heat vision. So I'll be providing the higher quality image, this one, for you to download, and I will also link the Pexels image down in the description below, so you can download it, the square one, and you can play with the content ever if you like. So that being said, we have talked a lot. Now let's just begin the process. Okay, so first things first, let me just rename this to image. All right, so first things first, I want to first color grade the image so that when we give heat vision for a more dramatic color tone. So let's go to filter and camera raw filter. So what I want for this is to just maybe bring down the exposure a bit and increase the contrast. Highlights, maybe not so much highlight. I don't want anything with shadows. Maybe I will reduce the shadows. The whites aren't that important, so I'll just keep it as it is, and I will darken the blacks. I will give it some texture, some clarity for some pop, and some dehaze. Not so much, but I will let's keep the dehaze at 0. It's better like that. And maybe 10% vibrance, and I will bring the saturation way low. I think I will increase the vibrance to 40 and maybe saturation to -50. Cool. And temperature, let's bring to -15. Let's close the basic and let's come to the details and sharpening. I will just mask it to sharpen only the face and some of the details, to get some details in the face. All right, so just press P for before and after. This is before and this is after. I like this. All right, now let's collapse the details tab and let's bring in our color grading, and maybe for shadows I will go with some darken teal-like color, and for highlights I will go with something more with some orangish, teal and orange. That's just great. There you go. Okay, cool. So first thing what we need to do is let's create a new layer, and with lasso tool just around the pupils of the eyes, pupils, whatever, you know what I mean. Just let's, you know, come here and make sure to go outside the canvas. Just make sure to go outside the border here. Okay, so here and here, and then close it. Great. So now that we have our new layer and we have our foreground, and our foreground is white, so all you have to do is press Alt and backspace on your keyboard and deselect it. Control D or Command D to deselect. Now we have created our basic shape, and what we have to do next is that we have to convert our layer into a smart object. It's not necessary, but I like doing it. So for that, I will just press Control Alt and right square bracket, and that automatically converts my layer into a smart object. If you don't know how to do that, you can watch my video on the screen right here. You can watch my video on how to speed up your process by just 90%. There are really cool tips and tricks that you can do in Photoshop that will just speed up your process. So now we just double click on this layer and we come to outer glow, and our blend mode will be normal, color white, press OK, opacity 100, noise 0. Yeah, so spread, so play around with this. I think depending on your image, the sizes will be different, so just play around until, you know, until you stop seeing this edge over here. You see this edge? So just play around with the image, with the spread and size until you stop seeing that edge. I think somewhere around here is fine. Maybe, yeah, okay. Actually, the blend mode will be hard light. Blend mode will be hard light, and contour will be default, range 100%, and jitter 0, or as Mexicans would say, hitter. I'm just kidding, it's jitter. Hopefully it's jitter. And then inner glow, blend mode normal, color white, and just decrease the size. It's not doing anything, but you know, it's doing something a little bit, you can see. Okay, great. So now just duplicate this layer and double click on it, and just deselect the inner glow and come to outer glow and change the blend mode to linear dodge add, and change the color to a very bright orange. FF 6000, and copy this for now and increase the size. Play around with this, and you know, increase the noise as well, maybe 5% noise. Great. So just hit OK and bring the fill down to 0%, and duplicate that layer once more, double click on that, outer glow, and this time just decrease the spread and increase the size. You know, awesome. Now with this image, we automatically get the displacement over here. The, you know, yeah, you know. All right. So now what I like to do is I like to group this, call them I1, and grouping I did by pressing Control G or Command G, and I duplicated that. So here it is. So next thing what I want to do is I want to add some highlights to the eyes here. So I will click on my image, and then I will go to solid color, and I will pick a, you know, dark brown color. brown color, and I will set the blend mode to linear dodge add, and I'll go to mask, and I will invert the mask by pressing Ctrl I or Command I on a Mac. And with white as my foreground color, I will just tap here and here to bring up that highlight. Awesome. And maybe I will just, you know, decrease the size of this. Yeah, I think it's fine now. Okay, so the next what I want to do is I want to add those veins that you saw in the image right over here, and we have to make sure the veins are, you know, above the highlights layer. Okay, so just double click on the veins layer, and on the blend if side in blending options, come to blend if, gray selected by default, and come to this layer, not underlying layer, this layer, and come to the white number and just decrease the whites, and press Alt to break them apart. And there you go, and press OK. That way we have erased our white background. I will just, you know, decrease the size, press OK. Now I want to add a mask next to that on this layer, but I want to add an inverted mask, not just random mask and then invert it. That will just take 2 seconds. What I want is to do it in 1 second. So I'll press Alt and click on this mask, and we have already added an inverted mask. So I'll bring up my brush again, and here I'll just, you know, with white as my foreground, I'll just tap. All right, and we'll erase some parts that we don't want, like here. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to convert this into smart object. Control Alt right square bracket. There we go, and I want to, you know, give it some color overlay. Normal, some dark brown color here. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to blur this a little. So blur, Gaussian blur, 2 pixels is okay. So I just want to convert it once more into smart object. Now set the blend mode to linear dodge add, and maybe reduce the fill a little. There you go, 75% works just fine. So next thing what I want to do is I want to add some particles. Okay, so I want to add this part of the particles, and I'll just, you know, increase the size. Yeah, good, done. Now let's set the blending mode of this to linear dodge add, and let's add another inverted mask by pressing Alt and clicking on the mask icon. There we go, and let's have our brush, bigger brush, and with white as our foreground color, just add those particles in. Okay, and set the blending mode of this to 15. We just want very subtle particles, or as written, subtle particles. And duplicate that by pressing Ctrl J or Command J, Ctrl T for transform, and flip it vertical, and just bring this up right here and rotate it to match the stuff. And, you know, there you go. Great. Create a new layer right above the eye one. So press plus for a new layer, and I'm gonna call it smoke. Okay, I'm gonna call it smoke, and I'm gonna fill it with gray, 50% gray. So just press shift and backspace on your keyboard on Windows, or shift delete on a Mac, and select 50% gray and press OK. There you go. Now let's come to filter, render, clouds. Now double click on the clouds layer, come to color overlay, and select a very bright orange color and set the blending mode to overlay, I guess. Yeah, overlay. Okay, so we have set our colors, and let's just put this blend mode into screen. There we go, screen, and just create an inverted mask once more. And with this cloud brush, just tap maybe once to get that heat looking, like distortion. Okay, not so much, nothing crazy, and just reduce the fill to maybe 50%. How cool does that look? Just see. Okay, maybe put the blend mode of this to linear dodge add. Great, linear dodge add, and maybe blend mode 40%. That looks sick. Okay, so the next thing what we want to do is, wait, there is no next thing, because we are done. Our image is ready, more than ready, and this looks just super cool. So yeah guys, there was our Heat Vision image. I hope you really like this tutorial, and if you really did, then please subscribe to my channel, help my channel grow a lot, grow bigger, and like my videos so that YouTube can recommend my videos to other editors and designers and artists as well, who really want to learn all this stuff. So please help out here, show some support, and thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.